share. Okay, let's bring in agriculture into the conversation and the markets. You have very few companies listed under the agriculture subsector of the market, just about 3 or 4 of them really. 2 of them are always in the news for every good reason, so to speak, in recent months, and the last 1 year, that's Fiscal and Okomu oil palm. Then you have livestock feeds, which had been on the market for a number of years. Of course, you know, livestock feeds used to be, well, because they're a subsidiary of Pfizer, pharmaceuticals, that was then. They became a company that stood alone, produces what you call agro feeds and what have you with all of that. So that company is still there doing business. And we've got to talk a little bit more with one of the research analysts from Afrinvest, Doyinsola, Afolabi. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to have you here. Let's talk about agriculture a little bit. Where should we start from? Should we start from the laggards, which is livestock feeds? Do you think, but first of all, do you think fiscal policies, in terms of agri policies, including FX, have all contributed to what is the new trend that we are seeing among these few listed agro-allied stocks?
Yes, definitely. Most especially the FX policies. You look at the likes of Okomu and Fiscal that are into, you know, palm oil, and they significantly benefited from the 41 items removal of palm oil. And the 41 items leave the ban of palm oil. So, like, if you want to import palm oil, you don't have access to dollars, and so most local consumers have had to source for palm oil locally, which has improved revenue. You see from 2016 numbers, 2017 half year in double-digit growth in revenue and PBT. Yes, so yes, and then the federal government trying to diversify from oil as major source of revenue for the country has been beneficial for the agri sector. So you see that livestock field also recorded growth in revenue of about 28%, right? Increased volume, which can be attributed to increased volume, right? But then for PBT, they didn't do so well, and PAT as well, because of high finance cost and high cost of, you know, inputs. Yeah, but
livestock feeds hasn't really been able to get its acts together for a number of years. Yes. And that's very true. Again, some folks say because there's a massive market out there still from Asia, China, Thailand, and the rest, where livestock feeds are imported, whether feed stocks for chicken, for poultry, or for fish, those who are doing fish farm. And they said this is one of the problems they have. So do you think we need to do something along that corridor to help livestock feeds, for example, be able to not just increase revenue, but increase the bottom line, which is basically net profit? And I'm not sure they've gotten any dividend to pay anytime
with a negative fees well, yeah, there's some policies. I know there was a time there was an import tariff that was put in the agriculture sector, and a lot of companies benefited from it. It was about 35%. So I mean, it discouraged people from importation. By the time you pay a 35% import tariff, it sort of reduces, you know, your profit. So if policies like that can be put in place to discourage those importations, yes, it will be largely beneficial for livestock fields and other, you know, agri companies. Yeah, so policies like that we think should be put in place, and tariffs on importation, probably a ban, right, to encourage domestic production and to also help boost volume of production for these companies.
Let's look at companies that are not directly in agriculture but benefit a lot from what happens in the agri space or agro-allied space. USC, for example, USC is one big company on our market. They got a restaurant. They got a few other what you call confectionaries or whatever it is, products that are consumed, and some this come from a bit of what you call agri. Do you think all this, both in terms of policies and FX, and ramping up domestic raw material agro-allied raw materials can continue to boost USC, for example. And this one company saying, look, we're doing a rights issue, for example. We need more money from shareholders because we need to up our game and become that big company that USC used to be, a blue chip with a price and a very steady dividend for investors.
Yes. So this will also drive the cost of sales, right, for those companies, which will then improve their bottom line, right? And when you have lower cost of sales, that means you're increasing your volume of production as well. It would also definitely help their bottom line numbers. So yes, I mean, if you have, like I said, like you said, the raw materials that they use to produce this their goods, if you have some FX policies, so some of these companies as well, you see that some of their raw materials, some of the items that goes into their cost of sales, some of them are imported. So FX policies also affect them, like the stability of the naira also affects their production. So yes, if they're able to source for materials locally, reduce the cost of sales, this would have a positive impact on your.
If I have bread as part of my product, I'm also impacted because of wheat.
Yes.
And other components.
Yes, definitely. So I mean, if you have to import wheat, right? So if there FX policies that are they've been driving the market, if these FX policies are put in place that will help to keep the naira stable, this will largely be positive for companies.
Well, for most of you downtown on Market Street, all of you cover oil and gas, you cover banks and consumer goods and industries. But who covers agriculture? Do you?
Yes, not officially, because we are trying to launch our initiation of coverage, which will be out very soon, and then we can say to the public that yes, we cover agri sector.
Why do you think agriculture is now important for you folks at Afrinvest to initiate a coverage?
Well, agriculture has always been important, right? Right now, there's a lot of there are a lot of things going on in that sector. Like I said, the government trying to diversify from oil revenue, now focusing on agriculture. A lot of activities in that space, a lot of interest from investors that we've seen. So yes, this is the right time to move to agriculture. Agriculture used to be a major source of revenue for the company before the oil came and then kind of took everybody's eyes.
So you folks believe this is no longer a dead subsector of the market?
No.
Because you see big money from Presco and Okomo Oil.
There's a lot of opportunities in that space. If you look at talking about Presco and Okomo, we looked at consumption and demand, the demand for oil palm that are produced, which is a major driver of the revenue for Okomo and Presco. And as of last year, December 2016, you saw demand for palm oil at about 1.5 million metric tons, and supply is still lagging with 900,000 metric tons. So there's still a huge gap. There's still space for people to,
for production, for supply, for market supply, domestically speaking.
Yes. So that's about 700, 600 metric tons.
So we're still just about opening the surface, just scratching the surface, as it were. Yeah. Do you think we have more space for the likes of Okomo Oil, more of Presco? You think we do?
There's a lot of space. The demand is increasing daily. The use of palm oil has gone from just human consumption to making up soaps and
industries, consumer goods, consumer goods.
It's gone wide and far. So there's still a lot of opportunities.
And you're looking at the capitalization of these two companies specifically to initiate that coverage.
Yeah.
Because things seem to have improved.
Yes.
They've moved from serious negative numbers to very big positive numbers.
Yes, definitely.
Both these two companies reported about 2 billion, north of 2 billion each in net profit.
Yes.
In the first 6 months of 2017.
Yes.
That's quite huge.
That's huge. Presco is about 5.6 billion. As at H1 2017. Okomo also is about 6.2 billion from 3.6 billion in the previous year. So yes, they're doing fantastic, and they're also looking to expand. So they are doing a lot of planting, replanting. So we expect more production volumes, increasing yields. So for Q1 2017, it was price. The price, because it's internationally priced. So the price when you convert to naira was the major driver of their revenue, and now it's production volume. So they've been doing a lot of planting since 2014, and it takes about 2011, 2014, thereabout, I can't remember, but it takes about 3 to 4 years for them to have a full ready plants to yield fresh fruit bunches. So when you have replantings, that means they increase yield. So like old trees of like 25 years, they don't obviously produce as much as they used to, when they were like 10 years or 7 years. So they have to replant those trees. So that's what they're doing now. They're adding a lot of hectares. So Akomo is doing 3,000 more hectares of land. They did last year. They're doing this year, and they're doing another in 20. So that's a lot of activities going on in that space.
There's a lot of activities going on there. Yes. After all the years of covering crude oil or petroleum, now you analysts are now going to add palm oil to it. Yes, I love that. Agriculture, I love that. I love that a lot. And you think, when you talk to your strategy guys and your portfolio guys, you think investors are asking questions about this particular sector. Is that what they say?
Yes. So there's a lot of interest in the sector now. People are asking questions. What do you think of Akomo? Do you think it's a good buy? What do you think they're doing? Yes. So there's a lot of interest in that space now, most especially
as they're looking at the shares, very low prices for others, like livestock fees, and say, well, maybe with a few money I can get in there before it becomes another crude oil sector.
Yes, yes.
I'm going to remember that. I'm going to remember that, and I'll remember this conversation. When you folks start the coverage of the initiation coverage of the agri sector, let's be the first to know.
Okay.
And then we'll look at the numbers as where you're taking off for that. Thank you very much for coming.
Doyinsola
Afolabi, who is one of the research analysts at Afrinvest. When we come back, we're taking